This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. A new deal for Grand Lucayan, $100 million sale price. Grand Bahama residents say they are hopeful over the resort deal. As COVID cases rise, several schools resort to virtual learning, and Economic Affairs Minister Halkitis says relief options are limited on inflation. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, May 12th, 2022. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll be talking with RF about their upcoming conference. And later in Morning Blend Business, we are talking with Arawak X, getting an update on their crowdfunding initiatives, where things stand at this point. It's all straight ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the government has agreed to sell Grand Lucayan Resort on Grand Bahama to Electra America Hospitality Group for $100 million. Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation Chester Cooper announcing the deal yesterday, adding that 2,000 construction jobs and 1,000 permanent jobs will be made available as a result. Electra has committed to a $300 million development of the property. According to Cooper at a press conference in the Grand Lucayan's foyer yesterday, Electra is committed to a luxury lifestyle hotel with about 200 rooms and 24 villas. Electra will also open an upscale convention hotel with more than 500 rooms that will cater to group and convention markets, an all-suite resort with more than 200 condo hotel-style suites also planned for the property. There's also going to be a refurbished golf course, complemented by a new upscale country club and golf villas. And this will be in addition to a renovated casino managed by a world-class casino operator. The Nassau Guardian understands that Hard Rock will operate the resort's casino. The resort will have at least 11 world-class restaurants and 10 bars, according to Cooper. He says it will also feature a spa and fitness facility, amenities for children, event spaces, pools, and water features. Now, subject to approvals, solar energy will be a major part of the property's sustainable management strategy, and there will also be gardens on the property that can provide true farm-to-table dining for guests. Electra is committed to best-in-class recycling practices as part of its commitment as well. Now, the government's agreement with Electra is subject to a 60-day due diligence period, with closing no later than 120 days. The Electra Hospitality Group CEO Russell Urban says the group will focus on planning this year. And residents are cautiously optimistic about the deal. There's a lot more on that in today's Nassau Guardian. Following a government-authorized increase in the prices of some breadbasket items, Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkida is assuring the Bahamian public that the government is giving the issue of inflation serious attention, but noted that relief options are limited. He says it's a vexing issue. He was speaking in the Senate yesterday, and that he's been asked often to explain whether there are things the government can do. He says new data is supposed to come out in the U.S. showing that perhaps the inflation has peaked, and they're starting to see the situation moderate. Several schools on New Providence announcing a temporary return to virtual learning as a result of COVID cases on their campuses. In addition to Stephen Dillett Primary, which you told you about, St. Anne's School, St. Augustine's College, and Queen's College are also impacted. Stephen Dillett making the announcement on Tuesday. St. Anne's announced yesterday the Ministry of Health had advised all students and staff to quarantine as a result of cases on the campus, and students would begin virtual lessons this week and return to the campus on May 18th. In a letter to parents yesterday, SAC acting principal Maurice Thompson announcing a suspension of in-person learning until May 19th because a staff member tested positive. And QC noted in a letter to parents that there were positive cases and a significant number of exposed students in the high school. A resident of Elizabeth Estates is facing multiple charges after he allegedly opened fire on a patrol car with an assault rifle on May 5th. 31-year-old Antonio Cartwright of St. Lucia Crescent appeared before Magistrate Shaka Serville yesterday, charged with attempted murder, possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life, possession of a firearm to prevent lawful arrest, and possession of an unlicensed firearm and possession of ammunition. Cartwright was not required to enter pleas to the charges and was remanded to custody. He returns to court on August 26th. And a 25-year-old man was yesterday charged with a shooting that left one man dead and another injured. Dante DeVoe, who is otherwise called Dre, is charged with the May 2nd murder of Emmanuel Brown and the attempted murder of his friend Samuel Joseph. Police were called to a shooting at 7th Street at Coconut Grove, where they met two men suffering from gunshot wounds. Brown was pronounced dead on the scene and Joseph taken to the hospital. Prosecutors allege that DeVoe shot both men. He was not required to enter pleas to the charges. Overseas, Finland's president and prime minister are saying today they're in favor of rapidly applying for NATO membership without delay, paving the way for the alliance to expand amid Russia's war in Ukraine. The dramatic move by Finland was announced by the president and prime minister. It means that Finland is virtually certain to seek NATO membership, though a few steps remain before the application process can begin. Neighboring Sweden is expected to decide on joining NATO in coming days. Finland shares an 830-mile land border with Russia. The Kremlin has warned of military and political repercussions if Sweden and Finland decide to join NATO. Should they apply, there will be an interim period lasting from when an application has been handed in until all 30 NATO members' parliaments have ratified it. The Prime Minister and the President saying in a joint statement that NATO membership would strengthen Finland's security. As a member of NATO, Finland would strengthen the entire defense alliance. He also said that Finland must apply for NATO membership without delay. We hope that the national steps will still needed to make this decision will be taken rapidly within the next few days. That statement today coming a day after British Prime Minister Boris Johnson visited both Finland and Sweden to sign a military cooperation agreement. The UK pledged on Wednesday to come to the aid of Sweden and Finland if the two Nordic nations came under attack. During a joint news conference with Johnson and the President and Prime Minister, the Finnish head of state said Moscow would only blame itself should his nation of 5.5 million people become a NATO member. He said pointedly, quote, "You caused this, look at the mirror." Speaking to Vladimir Putin of Russia. In sports, in an effort to encourage longevity and competitiveness in table tennis, the Nassau Youth Table Tennis Club will host a tournament Saturday, May 21st. It'll be at the L.W. Young Junior High School on Bernard Road. The tournament, sanctioned by the Bahamas Table Tennis Federation, will feature under 12, under 16, and under 19 divisions for boys and girls. The tournament is free of charge, and water, light snacks, paddles, and table tennis balls will be provided, and there'll be ample tables for the matches. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Sports section. From the NBA, the Bucks, Milwaukee Bucks, taking a 3-2 lead over the Boston Celtics in their Eastern Conference semifinal. And the Memphis Grizzlies rout the Golden State Warriors to avoid elimination, forcing a Game 6. Meanwhile, Nikola Jokic plays for Denver and for Serbia. Both places can once again make the same claim for the second consecutive season. They're home to the NBA's most valuable player, the league announcing Wednesday night that Jokic won back-to-back MVP awards. The Nuggets' big man is the second consecutive international player to win 2 in a row after Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo from Greece was honored in 2019 and 2020. This marks the first time international players have won the award in 4 consecutive seasons. Canada's Steve Nash went back-to-back for Phoenix in 2005 and 2006, followed by Germany's Dirk Nowitzki for Dallas in 2007. International players, by the way, finished 1, 2, and 3 in the voting. Jokic got 65 first-place votes and 875 points from the panel of writers and broadcasters. Philadelphia's Joel Embiid was second with 26 first-place votes and 706 points. Antetokounmpo was third with 9 first-place votes and 595 points. Devin Booker of Phoenix wound up fourth. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by BTC. We've got a low pressure system north of the Bahamas. It's trailing. It's a trailing trough across its northwestern islands and promoting some unsettled weather and hazardous boating and beaching conditions. This all while a dissipating frontal boundary maintains some unsettled weather across the southeast Bahamas. As a result of this, we've got a number of warnings. There's a risk of rip currents along north and east coast shores. Mariners should exercise caution due to possible waterspout activity, and residents should be alert for possible flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas. For all areas today, forecast calls for partly cloudy to cloudy and warm conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Small craft caution continues. Winds light and variable, occasionally out of the east to southeast, at 10 knots or less in the central and southeast Bahamas. Winds 1 to 3 feet, but building to 7 to 9 feet in north and northeasterly swells. Temperature-wise today, we are at about 69 degrees right now in Nassau. We're looking at highs getting up to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius today. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. Your first look at weather brought to you by BTC. Switch to BTC and get 2 months of free internet for new customers. Pay for the first month and get the second and third months free. Get the speed you need and great savings on the Bahamas' best network. With BTC's fiber network, you can browse the web, enjoy social media, and stream your favorite HD videos. Visit a BTC store or any BTC store or call 225-5282 to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way.
You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Doctors Hospital's Pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshospital.com.
Switch for better when you move your mortgage to Scotiabank. Leave behind that old mortgage plan and open the door to a low interest rate. No payments for up to 2 months and cash back of 2.5% of the mortgage amount up to US $10,000. And guess what? It gets better. Apply for your Scotiabank credit card and enjoy a low 9.99% introductory rate for the first 6 months. Switch for better and upgrade your mortgage today with Scotiabank. Offer ends June 30th, 2022.
Even when dining out is kind of predictable.
Will that be all, miss?
No, I would like that double-decker caramel chocolate cheesecake.
Sometimes you need to make a classic move. That's why for all of life's moments, there's one classic credit card. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses. Apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic and enjoy 1 year's free membership. Conditions apply.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Excuse me. We are live on our website, guardiantalkradio.com. You can stream us live there or on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Remember, standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. We'll give you the phone numbers. You can call in just a bit as well. Coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. And in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with RF about their upcoming conference. And in our 9 o'clock hour, Morning Blend Business, we are talking with Arawak X about their crowdfunding initiatives, where things stand with their first 3 initiatives. We'll get the details this morning, so a lot to get to. But first, let's begin with what's in the news. And in the news, the big story, new deal for Grand Lucayan and for Grand Bahama, possibly. The announcement yesterday that we've all been waiting for months. Who is going to be the new owner of the Grand Lucayan Resort? And we got the answer. We got the answer yesterday. Electra America Hospitality Group, and purchasing it for $100 million. Still a lot to be done before we can seal it entirely, but for what happened yesterday, take a listen to this report from our Berthany McDermott.
Eight months after it canceled a deal struck by the Minister administration for the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort on Grand Bahama, the government has found another buyer for the 740-room property. Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper announcing today that the Davis administration has accepted a $100 million purchase offer from American company Electra American Hospitality Group for the sale of the resort. The deal will create up to 3,000 temporary and permanent jobs.
Lucayan Renewal Holdings Limited, the special purpose vehicle that owns the Grand Lucayan Resort on behalf of the Bahamian people, has entered an agreement for the sale of the entire property to Electra America Hospitality Group The government has accepted Electra's purchase offer for the Grand Lucine Resort of $100 million.
Cooper says the agreement is subject to a 60-day due diligence period with closing no later than 120 days. He announced that Electra has committed to an estimated $300 million in construction and renovation to rebuild the Grand Lucine Resort into an environmentally sustainable luxury resort.
Electra will also open an upscale convention hotel with more than 500 rooms that will cater to groups and the convention market. An all-suite family resort with more than 200 condo hotel-style suites is also planned for the property.
The refurbishment of the golf course is also planned in addition to a renovated casino managed by a world-class casino operator.
The resort construction and relaunch is expected to create approximately 2,000 construction jobs and 1,000 permanent jobs.
Cooper said the deal will be a win for the Bahamian people and a win-win for the people of Grand Bahama. In March 2020, the Minutes administration signed a heads of agreement with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines and the ITM Group, which promised to invest more than $300 million in the redevelopment of the project and construction of a cruise port. However, the COVID-19 pandemic delayed and changed the terms of the agreement. After being elected to office last September, the Davis administration canceled the deal, arguing that it was bad. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, so we heard more from the Deputy Prime Minister, the Acting Prime Minister, Chester Cooper, after that on what all we can expect from this, and it sounds very, very exciting. According to Cooper, Electra is committed to a luxury lifestyle hotel with approximately 200 rooms and 24 villas. Electra will open an upscale convention hotel with more than 500 rooms that will cater to group and convention markets, an all-suite resort with more than 200 condo hotel-style suites. Also planned for the property, a refurbished golf course complemented by a new upscale country club and golf villas. This will be in addition to a renovated casino managed by a world-class operator. And the Nassau Guardian says it could be hard rock, and they are well known for that. The resort will also have at least 11 world-class restaurants and 10 bars. Cooper says it will also feature a spa and a fitness facility, amenities for children, event spaces, pools, and water features. And subject to approvals, solar energy will be a major part of the property's sustainable management strategy, and that there will be gardens on the property that can provide farm-to-table dining for guests. Electra is also committed to best-in-class recycling practices as part of its commitment to sustainability. So all of this is going to be subject to a 60-day due diligence period, with closing no later than 120 days. And the CEO of Electra Hospitality Group, Russell Urban, saying the group will focus on planning this year. He said, quote, "The actual renovations, because of the time lag will begin in earnest in 2023. We will continue on through our planned opening of all the facilities in the beginning of 2025. It's also important to know that there will never be a point where the facilities will be closed in their entirety." He says, quote, "We will always have a hotel open. We will always be employing throughout the renovation process those people who are here today. We will do renovations on various parts of the site on an ongoing basis." Now, Cooper says at least 80% of the construction jobs will go to Bahamians, 80%. And 80% must be full-time jobs. The construction will be phased, with the hotel remaining open at all times. Electra is also committed to using local artisans throughout the resort. And as we heard at the press conference yesterday, he says Electra will they've committed to use Bahamian live entertainment throughout the property, and that all the properties will have unique or internationally renowned luxury brands. Now, Urban says Electra is in talks with several international brands for the resort. He said, quote, "We expect to have at least 3 very, very well-known brands at the property, and you may end up with more than that. So we're in the process of refining that decision right now." All right, so we're waiting to connect with Laverne, having some technical challenges there, but we're going to get that sorted out in a moment. But let's hear from you on this. How are you feeling about this so far? What's your reaction to it? It all sounds very, very good, and we know that Grand Bahama desperately needs this. The Grand Lucayan is a wonderful property, desperately needs a great partner, and we're hoping that this will put an end to, as the NASA Guardian puts it, its troubled past. But let's hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. As you may recall, the Minutes administration bought the resort, you heard that in that report just now, from Hong Kong conglomerate Hutchison Whampoa in August 2018 for $65 million. In March 2020, the government signed a heads of agreement with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines and the ITM Group, which promised to invest more than $300 million in the redevelopment of the property and construction of a cruise port. However, the COVID pandemic delayed and changed the terms of the agreement. The final buying price dropped to $50 million. After being elected to office last September, the Davis administration canceled the deal, arguing that it was a bad one, and promised to find a new buyer. Cooper says the government truly believes that the new group chosen will be good for Grand Bahama. He noted that the group, whose principals boast over 150 years of collective experience in the hospitality business, is part of a conglomerate, Electra America, with worldwide assets worth $7 billion in significant holdings. Cooper said yesterday, quote, given the Dorian experience, Lucayan Renewal Holdings Limited has agreed with the buyer to insure the first $10 million of hurricane damage in the event of 2 named storms making landfall within the first 5 years of ownership. And as part of the purchase price, the company has pledged $5 million to the Ministry for Grand Bahama's new unit, Collab, Partnerships for Development. And that's for community projects and funding for Bahamians to create and grow businesses to enhance the tourism product in conjunction with the Ministry of Tourism and the Tourism Development Corporation. Electra is also committed to helping to assist communities impacted by Hurricane Dorian. Cooper says that airlift is a critical component to revitalizing the island, and the government has committed to rebuilding and reopening a world-class facility by 2025. All right, so let's hear from you, folks. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. All right, let's get some of your text messages in. Someone says here, Dwight, I'm so happy about the news, especially for Grand Bahamians. Hopefully we can get some of these people out of Nassau with their small cars. What now? Once the economy of Grand Bahama improves. Okay, small cars. Hey, sure. This one says here, the previous opposition criticized the Minutes administration for purchasing the hotel, but now we see how that initiative is about to benefit the people of Grand Bahama. The New Day says the government shouldn't have purchased the hotel, let it close, and send the people home. What? Now they're bragging about getting a sale. Well, I don't think they said that. They thought that deal was a bad one. They didn't say send the people. No. They just didn't think that was a good deal. Okay. Another one here. Definitely good news for Grand Bahama. Have a buyer for the hotel. Also, Carnival Cruise, groundbreaking. The new hospital in June. Airport shortly afterwards. Wow, I feel like jumping and running right now. Praise the Lord. Okay. And another one. We in Grand Bahama were getting promises and sweet deals from Christie's time that never materialized. Until I see concrete and boots on the ground, this deal ain't nothing. Tired of government building up our hopes to let us down. Well, I mean, we can understand you feeling that way, but not even a little bit of optimism that this could finally be, at least for the Grand Lucayan, be something. There's a lot of work still to be done, right? No. All right. Continue to send your text messages, 422-4796. There is a statement from the F&M, and we're going to read that to you about this. This is from Kwesi Thompson, the Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama. This is from yesterday. The statement says, today's Grand Lucayan announcement gives us a reason for very cautious optimism. Grand Bahamians have been waiting a very long time to see the full redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan. We have already experienced 2 memorandum of understandings, letters of intent in recent years. We need to see actual development and employment. Grand Bahamians no longer get excited by announcements. We have been there and done that. However, the devil is always in the details. We wait to see the full details of the deal and its benefits for the people of Grand Bahama. The previous F&M administration took the bold step of purchasing the Grand Lucayan and agreed to sell the hotel to Royal Caribbean Cruise Line and the ITM Group. However, due to the pandemic, RCCL and ITM Group requested that the original heads of agreement be amended, which would have significantly altered the deal. The changes were never fully agreed to by the previous F&M administration. The current PLP administration subsequently canceled the deal with RCCL and ITM. We hope to learn more about the details of the deal. The Grand Bahamian public will be interested in learning the details of when the actual renovations will begin, when and how Bahamians can participate in the redevelopment, what are the number of concessions that will be paid, and over what time frame, and what will happen to the existing employees. Also, what forms of new airlift and when they will begin, what is the development plan and timeline, and what is the overall vision for the island's tourism product. Grand Bahama needs a development that can integrate our cruise potential, bring additional airlift to sustain the redevelopment, and release the untapped potential of the island. Again, that's a statement from Kwesi Thompson, the MP for East Grand Bahama. All right. Another text here. Many PLPs cussed the administration for purchasing the hotel, but we see that it was a good initiative. Could have been another way. But hey, here we are now, and again, cautiously optimistic is a good way to put it. All right, let's see if we can. We got a little technical issue we're going to sort out. We're going to try to connect with Laverne. So we're going to take a break and then be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day.
You're always on the go. We know, like.
7:32 the time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. In your traffic, just a reminder about the work that's going on at Prospect Ridge and Prospect Road. That is expected to continue over the next couple of days. And if you're in the area, you're being advised to avoid it if you can, or follow the posted traffic signs. In your real-time traffic, we've got some heavy traffic on Milo Highway, as usual, from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway in the northbound lanes there. Glass Road also busy for you, but looking much better. Only about midway between Fire Trail and the roundabout with JFK Drive in the northbound lane. Blue Hill Road is getting busy, especially north of Soldier Road, heading toward the Independence Drive roundabout in the northbound lanes there. And as you are heading northbound between St. Vincent Road and Carmichael Road, you can see some building traffic there, heavy at times. Carmichael eastbound to the junction with Blue Hill Road also busy for you at this hour. Building traffic on Carmichael westbound to Coral Harbor Road. And some pockets along East Street, especially between Soldier and the Independence Drive East-West Highway roundabout, and just south of the intersection with Soldier Road, northbound heading toward that intersection. And pockets along Prince Charles Drive near Elizabeth Estates, at the Fox Hill intersection, and near Beatrice Avenue, and Robinson Road between Soldier and Old Trail Road. That's what we're seeing so far. That's your real-time traffic and Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC. RBC reminding you that you can experience cashless purchasing power and chip and PIN security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic. And time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Inventive Intellect. And we've got a low pressure system just north of the Bahamas that's trailing a trough across the northwestern islands, producing some unsettled weather and hazardous sea conditions, while a dissipating front of the boundary maintains some unsettled weather across the southeast Bahamas. As a result, there's some warnings for you. There's a risk of rip currents along north and easterly shores. Mariners should exercise caution due to the possibility of waterspouts, and everybody should be alert for possible flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas. For all areas today, the forecast calls for partly cloudy to cloudy and warm conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Smoke-off caution continues. Look for highs getting up to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will build westward across the country as the low pressure and trailing trough retreat across Florida. Expect increasing winds and subsiding seas through Saturday. So for tomorrow, Friday, partly cloudy to cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through the night. Saturday, partly cloudy to cloudy with isolated showers and thunderstorms again through the night. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Inventive Intellect for your personalized, customized items, including ceramic mugs, mirrored photo frames, acrylic frames, blankets, cutting boards, t-shirts, everything you need. 676-5811 or 821-9457. Give them a call. Inventive Intellect.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care. For every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Even when dining out is kind of predictable, will that be all miss?
No, I would like that double-decker caramel chocolate cheesecake.
Sometimes you need to make a classic move. That's why for all of life's moments, there's one classic credit card. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and PIN security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses. Apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic and enjoy 1 year's free membership. Conditions apply.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and carved body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street. Call 326-1976.
Imagine driving your dream car, doing all the things you never thought you could, like perfecting your parallel parking skills, or picking up your date. Everyone loves to dream. Stop dreaming. Start driving with a brand new offer from Scotiabank. With an auto loan from Scotiabank, benefit from no payments for up to 2 months, a low interest rate, up to 9 years to repay, and free insurance for the first year, up to 2.5% of the loan amount. Promotion ends June 30th, 2022. Stop dreaming and start driving today with an auto loan from Scotiabank.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. Out there in the room, I could go to space. Yeah, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy all alone. If you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy all alone. If you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy all alone. If you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy all alone. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Laverne Gardner, who's here with us now. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm here.
We finally got it all sorted out. Great to hear your voice.
Yes, it's good to be heard.
All right, because we really want to get your perspective as a Grand Bahamian on this deal, the Grand Lucayan deal. How are you feeling about this, and how are your fellow Grand Bahamians feeling?
Okay, I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. Dwight, that's kind of been my stand because we have been here before. This is maybe the third or fourth time we've heard an announcement that we have a buyer, and we've gone through this process. So, of course, my hope is that this process, all of this will come to fruition. And so that, Grand Bahamians, especially those in the tourism industry, can benefit from it. But, of course, to the Bahamian economy. So, yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I think, Grand Bahamian style, they want to be excited, but like I said, we've been burned before, so it's like the excitement is tempered a bit. And, to the texter who said, listen, I'm sure Grand Bahamians who have to leave their families and go to other islands to work, they want to come home as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
They're not on these other islands because they just decided to leave, right? So if it's an opportunity that will help bring those home, and of course it will put a dent in unemployment and increase the days and times that those who are in the hotel industry work, then this is what we want for Grand Bahama. We just want to see Grand Bahama thrive. But again, my optimism is very tempered. And also I stand by my point that I always say, the devil is in the details. And so I'm going to need to see that deal. I need to read that deal. I need to see their plans that they have for the Grand Lucayan, what they're going to do. I want to see all of that. I'm at the point where I'm going to need to see that routing number, that banking routing number and wire and whatever. I'm going to need to see the check when it hits.
Wow.
The account. That's where I'm at right now.
Okay, so let's look at this. So after the due diligence process and all of that is sorted out, and we do see the deal, and nothing too outrageous in it. What about their actual plans? Well, we heard from Chester Cooper yesterday about what they want to do, the type of resort they want this to be. How does that? How do you feel about that? Is that going to be a good fit for Grand Bahama? Is that what people are looking for when they come there, or is that the type of environment we need to create for the island? What do you make of it?
Again, I listen and I'm thinking, let's try it. That's the point I'm at. Let's see if this will work, if it will be a good fit. When you do research about the company, you see that this is what they do. They tend to focus more on longer stays, people who are staying longer, business persons in a high-end way. And so if we can get this to work for us, it may be, Grand Bahama tends to be quieter than maybe New Providence. And so it may appeal to people who have families and are staying maybe for a week or 2 weeks. And they maybe want to get away and have that quieter pace. So I'm hoping that it's a fit, that it will work.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you, and that sounds wonderful. And the older the older I get, the more I appreciate that. But it, just asking for me, it's not time to shake it up and get a little louder. Is it something a little more exciting? No.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We have to look at what we've created here, and see how best we can improve the tourism product that we have here, if this is going to be part of our focus for Grand Bahama. Depending on the government, whoever's empowered, they have different views for what Grand Bahama should be, whether it should be the technical hub or it should be the maritime, or all the different colors in the rainbow of of these varying economies. But certainly, if tourism is always going to be a factor, we really do have to look at what we are offering and, like you said, shake it up, so that we appeal to more than one type of tourist.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's hear from you folks.
You're not just asking for you're asking for any tourist that has come to Grand Bahama, and after 2 days, they're saying, okay, what else is there?
2 days?
Yeah.
All of that? You sure? They think they ask.
You know what?
They ask sooner than that. They ask sooner than that. But okay.
You know I like you, but I love Grand Bahama. This could be a thing.
Oh, dear. All right. Let's hear from you folks. What do you make of this? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Grand Bahama is call in. Let's hear from you on this. Let's go back to the text line. This person says here, this is a good deal for Grand Bahama. Menace and F&M wasted money buying the hotel. Chester Cooper did a great job finding a buyer. The company is more of a luxury condominium company, but that's a good thing. Grand Bahama needs young, new hoteliers that can get an established brand to manage the hotel. Okay. And, we're hearing it's going to be a few, according to the head of Electra. This person says here, okay. So this person says, the PLP is a threat to the stability of this country. What? No. Every time the F&M sets this country on the right track, the PLP hijacks the unions and certain parts of the media and fights by any means to be elected. What? They're political terrorists and will do anything to get elected. This is about what we're talking about here today. And they go on to say, so buying the hotel wasn't a bad idea after all. I wonder what would have become of it if it wasn't bought by the former administration in the interest of the Grand Bahamian people. Well, I think the okay. Well, I don't know.
Maybe we'll just read that text and leave it there, because yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. 323-6232.
Everybody wants credit, Dwight.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Everybody wants a little bit of credit.
Perhaps. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. So we'll see. It looks like it's going to be a little while, though. We're going to have to be very patient to see exactly how this works. Yeah.
And that's the reality with anyone. That's not just particular to Electra and their hospitality group. Anyone who would purchase the hotel, there's going to be a wait. It isn't as if we have a buyer today and by the end of the year, we are booming with tourists. The hotel needs a lot of work, and depending on what their plans are, will determine how much that is drawn out. And so right now we're hopefully at the beginning.
Yep.
But it's going to be a while.
Absolutely. So 2025
Right.
seems like that's the key year to watch. But again, we're going to keep our fingers crossed and hope this is it. And lots of other things planned for Grand Bahama. We're hearing about the Carnival, the cruise port there, and
that's been a long time coming.
Yep. Do we know what's happening with Royal Caribbean and their plans? Where do things stand with that?
We don't know anything other than, the last time we heard the statement where they were saying that they were still very much interested in investing here. But, and of course, I'm not seated at the table when all of these deals are taking place. But I think, that their issue may have been maybe they weren't getting the kind of deal that they would have hoped to get with the existing port, right? So I'm not sure.
Yep. And they were supposed to hear more about the hospital and the airport.
Well, those are to come, right?
Yeah.
According to the announcement, those are all things to come. And so, again, we just wait while we're cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Here's another message. On the surface, it sounds like a good deal once no outrageous tax exemptions are given. In terms of the brand, wealthy people love to gamble. The hotel needs a world-class casino. It cannot be sun, sand, and sea, as most wealthy people own a home on the beach somewhere. Also, the people of Grand Bahama need to hit the ground running and make the tourist experience extraordinary. Start thinking of what you can offer Grand Bahamians. Well, I guess what you can offer Grand Bahamians. Yeah, like that. Okay.
Or let's switch it around. Grand Bahamians, start thinking what you can offer.
There you go. So, yeah.
Well, absolutely. And so for all of my Grand Bahamians who have been already thinking about this day coming, especially if you're in tourism, and it's going to trickle down into every area, right? So I had a conversation with your number one Grand Bahamian fan yesterday, and she made we deemed her that. And so we were talking, and she said, the time to prepare for opportunity is not when the opportunity is there. So hopefully we've had people who've been working ideas and who have these ideas, and they're seeing how they can benefit, be a part of this new project, and they're ready to put forth those ideas, and hopefully they'll have the opportunity to execute. Because in Grand Bahama, we want to take care of ourselves. We want to be able to do that. We want to be able to provide for our families. And so I'm sure that there are many of us who are seeing how we can benefit even now from this stage once hopefully, preferably if things get going.
All right, wonderful. So in today's National Guardian, there's an article speaking to residents in Grand Bahama. Our Jasper Ward is there, and spoke to some folks there. Let's see what they're saying. One person, 70-year-old Gordon Higgs, a woodcarver at Port Lucaya, opposite the Grand Lucayan, as you know, Laverne, saying, quote, selling the hotel is a major plus for the economy of Freeport and Grand Bahama, especially the Port Lucaya marketplace. Before Hurricane Matthew, this place was prosperous. Now we only depend on cruise ship passengers. I praise God for the ships arriving and the economy getting back together day by day. Higgs said that the opening...
So true.
Yeah, he says the opening is excellent for the island.
Literally, there are artisans and other people in the straw markets in Port Lucaya that they only open on the days that cruise ships come in. That's it. They're not open every day.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. My goodness. He says that this will create more jobs. He said it'll be great for the whole island. Quote, it will benefit everyone, not just the vendors in the area. When the straw vendors make it, they pass it on to the smaller shops, and so everyone wins. He spoke of a straw vendor, 44-year-old Nikisha Saunders, a second-generation straw vendor at Port Lucaya, applauded the government for securing a buyer. She said, quote, it means more business around here, which will be excellent. When the resort closed, sales went down. After it was purchased and it turned into Memories Hotel, business was really good in the Port Lucaya marketplace. Saunders says business took a downward turn in the aftermath of Matthew, which damaged the resort. She says, quote, it's been real slow because we depend on the hotel for more traffic and we don't have any cruise ship passengers. 71-year-old David Long, an avid fisherman and resident of Grand Bahama, said the government needs to move on from the Grand Lucayan. He said it should tear the resort down instead. What? He said, quote, "It's been sitting there for too long. It bugs me every couple of months when someone says, oh, we're going to have a sale by the end of the week. Oh, we're going to have a sale by the end of the month. Nothing ever happens." He said he wishes the new buyer of the resort good luck. He said the island needs to focus on improving its tourism services to make tourists more willing to visit. He says, quote, "With all the garbage and all the crap along the road, if I were a tourist, I would get on the next plane and get the heck out of here." Oh, boy. Wow. Anyway, okay, well, we can work on that, right? That's easy to fix that part. But the other part about, yes, making sure that tourism experience is unique and memorable.
It's an entire experience.
There you go.
Right? Yeah. Right, so that people aren't coming just to stay at the hotel and never come off that property.
Right.
So we have to see how we make it an entire experience that people get to appreciate all of Grand Bahama and what it has to offer.
Yep, absolutely. This person says here, in 2016, it's a text, former tourism minister O.B. Wilshcombe had his big parade about the same sale. Minutes had a big shebang about the same hotel. 2022, here we go again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I'm a blankety blank. Grand Bahama has been here too many times. Well, boy.
Yeah. That's how Grand Bahamians feel, Dwight. It's like, okay. And that's why I said we're going to need to see all of the details.
Yeah.
The entire population of Grand Bahama, we're going to need to be able to sit in and read over and be like, yes, this is for real. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just,
we probably won't get excited until 2025.
when you see everything, yeah. As you said, everyone's saying that cautiously optimistic. The just keep thinking about the Royal Oasis for some reason. I was there when they had that big announcement.
Okay.
And of course, that was my good Lord.
Right. So, Dwight, we are good at big announcements. Follow through, not so much. But hey, we are good at big announcements. And they don't necessarily work out, or no, not necessarily. They don't work out, or you find that these deals, these considerations, just they don't pan out.
Yeah,
and you end up disappointed. So that's the difficult part, Dwight. But again, we're not saying that this project won't come to fruition. We are just saying we're going to take it easy. We're not going to have any big parties right now. We'll just watch and see.
Yep. That's all we can do, apparently. But like the texters have been saying, get your product ready. I know it's going to be a long time before you can really see the fruit that you're going to produce with this in any significant numbers, but start working on it now if you haven't already. More of your text messages coming in. Let's get to those. Texter, what? This person is, why wasn't the PM there? He's abroad. He's speaking. Come on. So there's not. Are you serious?
There's no issue there. There's no issue there. He's already traveled. Let's not major on the minor.
Come on. Yeah. This person says here, hopefully at least $60 million is used to fix up the infrastructure of Grand Bahama, and $40 million can go into the treasury. Well,
that's not going to happen.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Any idea what's going to happen with the part of downtown Freeport where the bazaar was? What do you call that? And
that's downtown and the International Bazaar, 2 different places.
Oh, really? That's not downtown? Okay.
No, that's not downtown.
It's kind of close, though. No?
It's kind of close, but it's not downtown.
You don't call that downtown. I guess it's the equivalent of...
Right,
producer? That's right
literally
there.
call the bazaar.
No?
The bazaar.
It's like for Nassau people, you could walk that. But Grand Bahamians don't walk, so I know that's why they wouldn't say that. But that's the equivalent of...
Dwight, I don't know where you're going with these sweeping statements this morning.
That's like the bridge and downtown. That's right. You could walk it anyway. All right. So the bazaar. Do we know what's happening there? Any idea?
We do not know what is happening there. There was a part of it, of course, there was the fire, and then there's a part of it that got pushed down, but we do not know what's going on there. The International Bazaar does not, if I'm mistaken, to my understanding, it did not have just one owner.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, boy. All right. Well, we will see. We're going to ask about it. We're going to break for news and be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BETC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook us, facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line 422-4796. And now at 8:20, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. We've got a low-pressure system north of the islands, trailing a trough across the northwestern Bahamas, producing unsettled weather and hazardous sea conditions, while a dissipating frontal boundary will maintain some unsettled weather across the southeastern islands. There's a risk for rip currents along north and easterly shores, and mariners should exercise caution due to the possibility of waterspouts, and residents should be alert for possible flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas during rainfall events. For today, forecast calls for partly cloudy to cloudy and warm conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Smallcraft caution continues. Temperatures today getting up to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will build westward across the area as the low pressure and its trailing trough will retreat across Florida. Expect increasing winds and subsiding seas through Saturday. So, for tomorrow, Friday, partly cloudy to cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through the night. Pretty much the same for Saturday. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. At 8:22, time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. And in your traffic, just a reminder about work going on Prospect Ridge and Prospect Road. Milling and paving work scheduled to go on for the next couple of days. And you're being asked to avoid the area if possible and to, if you must, be in the area, follow the posted traffic signs. In your real-time traffic, we're seeing the usual heavy traffic on Mile Butler Highway from Fire Trail all the way up to Tawny Quoum's Darling Highway this morning. Backed up a bit along Fire Trail as well for you. Gladstone Road looking like a slightly better alternate route for you, but still busy about midway between Fire Trail and JFK Drive in the northbound lanes. The six-legged roundabout seeing some heavy traffic multiple directions there, almost all of the six legs. So keep that in mind this morning. And we're seeing some heavy traffic on Saunders Beach area on West Bay Street as you approach the roundabout with the New Providence Highway roundabout. Tawny Quoum's Darling Highway seeing some eastbound traffic heading to Bahamas Games Boulevard. You're going to be back a bit there. And then Independence Drive, both directions, west and eastbound. You might want to try Robinson Road as an alternate route this morning if you've got to be somewhere by 8:30. Blue Hill Road also busy for you, northbound, heading to that roundabout with Independence Drive, just north of Soldier Road. Other spots to tell you about, the usual, Eastern Road westbound and Prince Charles Drive. Multiple spots westbound, Burnett Road westbound as well. And pockets along Wolf Road, westbound mainly this morning. That's what we're seeing so far. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and PIN security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Laverne Gardner. We are getting a reaction to the announcement yesterday of a deal for the purchase of the Grand Lucayan Resort. And I want to hear what you have to say about it. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. And again, Dwight Strachan with Laverne Gardner. And getting some more reaction here. Your text messages. This person says here, Dwight and Laverne, I hear some people saying it was a good thing the previous administration bought the hotel, but the point remains it was a bad deal that cost the Bahamian people $1 million a month to keep the doors open for just a handful of employees. Another text here. Can we stop treating Bahamians like fools, please? Can we simply establish a standard? In the normal course of the year, we expect daily rainfall to average. Okay, what is this story? This is about something you heard on the news. Okay. Okay, anyway, I'll read it. Properties we expect daily rainfall to average X inches. Properties under Y height above sea level will experience flooding. Heavy rainfall is considered X inches. Properties under Y feet above sea level will experience flooding. A wet hurricane event can bring Y inches of rain, etc. Stop with your feelings, please. Okay. Do you get where that's coming from, Laverne?
Oh, absolutely, totally lost. Yeah, I'm lost.
Okay. Okay, Texter. Thank you. I'm sure.
Maybe text back and explain the context under which they were. I don't know.
Okay. This person says here the hotel will not open until 2025 during construction renovation. During that time, they'll be completed. This is No Minis Oban. Make money during the renovation, make money when it opens. This company is giving away the furniture. The other company kept the furniture. Plus, this company is giving money for development outside the hotel. Remember, these people are taking a great risk with hurricanes investing their money in Grand Bahama. So stop complaining and start making money. Okay.
I don't think it's complaining. And, everything that texter said is fine. It's not complaining. But here's the thing, right? In saying that they are donating to other ventures. They are doing that, yes. They're giving away the furniture. That's the furniture that's been in the hotel that's been through hurricanes. It's dated furniture, but fine, whatever. But let's not get confused. They're not just coming here doing us a favor. And I think a lot of times that's how we act. It's a business. They're running a business. And so they see their potential to make money. So while we applaud them and great, we're happy and we want to be happy for this investment and we want to see it come to fruition, let's not have this complex where we think every investor is our savior, and understand that they didn't come here because, they just felt so sorry for the Bahamas or for Grand Bahama. They're coming because they spoke with their partners and they did their due diligence and they've decided that, you know what, this can be a worthwhile investment for them. So we're gaining, but they are gaining as well.
Absolutely. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Ben. How are you?
Doing well.
Wonderful. To your co-host, she's using a word that the investor is our savior. I am from the inner city. There are most of us that no longer thinks that they are not our savior.
No, she's saying that. She's saying they're not. She said the same thing you're saying. They're not the savior.
They're not our savior. They're our partners, and it's our country. They're seeing the investment and the results of revenue and stuff like that. And so do we, because we've got to take our foot and put the best foot forward to make this work. We're coming from Dorian, we're coming from the COVID-19, and the best is yet in us for us to go and achieve what's straight ahead, you know. And I give kudos to this administration. It's been how long now? 8 months in office? Is it 8 months or 9 months?
Almost.
Hello?
Yeah, almost. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, they've found the investor, and they've given us a little bit of the details, and then also too, how many houses is the Ministry of Housing building at this hour? Is it enough? But what I'm saying is that they've got two good news for us. Yes, there is a lot of increase in prices and food and stuff like that. But this ain't heaven, okay? This ain't heaven, and we ain't looking to have heaven down here. Okay, we need a little things to get a little bit better, but it ain't gonna be that sweet, because if it all happened down here, then what heaven gonna be like?
Okay.
Okay. But thanks for letting me share, and to God be the glory.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Just a few messages before we go to the break. This person says here, the hotel will open. I think we read that already, right? Yeah. This one says, the hotel will be open during construction, so they actually, for Grand Bahama, they kind of are doing us a favor. This text here, what's up with the airport, though? The hotel can't work without airlift, so the question isn't about the hotel, but the grand scheme of logistics for Freeport. But by the time they're open, we're hoping the airport will have been addressed, right? And we're expecting to hear more about that in the next few days, weeks, right? So hopefully that'll all be sorted out.
Yeah, according to the Minister for Grand Bahama, we should be getting an update.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and just a few messages before we go to the break. This is referring to the text earlier that puzzled us. The texter is saying that the investor is taking a risk investing in Grand Bahama due to hurricane and capital that has several major resorts been flooded with 1 hour of rain. Is that what that texter was talking about? I'm not too sure, but hey. This person says here, yes, is back to the development here. Pinecrest, right? Okay. The minister said the new development was flooded because they hadn't added the fill. Wrong. It flooded because it was below a given height above sea level. The point is, you're adding fill that can be washed away over time. That doesn't change the fact that the land is a given height above sea level, and at that height and under severe weather conditions, it is prone to flooding. Or are we ignoring hurricanes now? Yeah.
Maybe that is what the other texter was referring to. I think these two tie together, yes? Okay, we got it now.
You need a translator. Yeah. Okay. Right. So this is back to the Prime Minister. Where is he? Oh, you would have thought that with such a major signing that he would have been here. They would have waited for him. Why didn't they? Okay. Well, these things are bigger than one person, right? They've got to go on. The show's got to go on.
And we have a full cabinet. Some people would say more than enough. We have to wait for the Prime Minister for this. I think that the Deputy Prime Minister, who is currently the acting prime minister while the prime minister's out of the country, I think he was fine to do the job.
And also the Minister of Tourism and Investments.
Also the Minister of Tourism and Investment.
Yeah.
So he was the prime person. Again, let's not look for things where there aren't things. Trust me, there are enough things in this country going on to be issue-driven about.
Yeah.
I don't think that the prime minister's absence because of another commitment is one of them.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to keep you posted on how things go with that, but good to get your reaction to it. And so we are all keeping our fingers crossed and praying that Grand Bahama can return to the glory days. With legal. Yes. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking with RF about their economic outlook. That's after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time.
You should teach a savings class, because you know everything.
No, I just choose wisely. Like, I just got 2 months free home internet from BTC. All I did was sign up for internet.
2 months internet free? For real?
I bundled my internet and mobile services, and now I'm paying half of what the other guys charge. Plus, as a new customer, I get 2 months internet free.
What? Nah, that's a big deal.
Switch to BTC Internet and get the second and third months free for new customers. Conditions apply.
Breakfast just got better at Wendy's. Introducing the Breakfast Biggie Bag. Enjoy a double sausage muffin with 2 square sausage patties, a freshly cracked egg, and cheese served on a toasted English muffin, a medium waffle fries, and an orange juice for only $5.25, VAT inclusive. Add an apple pie for just $1 more.
Say what?
At Wendy's, better breakfast is all day. Offers valid in participating locations. Wendy's, different inside and out.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Doctors Hospital's Pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshosp.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This magic moment, so different and so new, but
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And morning, we are getting details about the upcoming RF Economic Outlook. Here to tell us all about this, we're very pleased to welcome RF Vice President of Corporate Finance, Jim Wilson, and RF Group Marketing Manager, Rachel Alahar. Great to have you both with us in studio. Good morning.
Happy to be here. Morning.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, so we want to find out all the details about the conference, but before we get to it, since we have experts with us, let's talk about the economy, where you see things right now, especially inflation is the big word. Everybody's talking about that and the pressures that we're all seeing and facing, and every day it seems we hear something more frightening and unsettling about what's going on globally and the impact it's going to have on us here. What's your perspective on it? People are asking, how long is this going to go on?
Well, definitely the geopolitical forces are working against us in terms of food costs, so inflation, I think. So these are things we do have to be concerned about. Closer to home right now, I mean, the economy, you know, our key industry of tourism seems to be firing on all cylinders. Everybody I speak to, it's all going extremely well. The announcements coming out of Freeport for cruise ports and hotels and everything else seems to be firing extremely well.
It's encouraging,
So
definitely.
it's very, very encouraging for us, but we do need to be mindful of what's happening in the Ukraine and what the impact that's going to have on food costs. We do have to be mindful of China shutting down for COVID again, and what that has on cost of just everything, really.
Yeah.
So we do need to be wary. I think if we can get through this year, the Bahamas can get through this year without any extraneous events such as a hurricane or anything like that impacting us, I think we should be in much better stead going into 2023.
Yeah. Right. Now, I know we're seeing the reports that there's going to be growth because we have a lot of making up to do, but that it could slow down after the next couple of years. Should we be concerned about that, and what can be done to reverse that?
I don't know if you can do anything from our, from here in the Bahamas to reverse anything that's happening externally. All we can do is try and make our product the best that we can, to compete the best that we can, regionally and internationally. I think we're in an ideal situation geographically because of our location to the States. And as the U.S. slows down, I think our level of tourists, who tends to be the higher spending tourists, I think will continue to want to travel. I think there's still that pent-up demand for the next year or two. And then, of course, with the cruise ships, with the new port coming on stream here, and the port in, if Carnival goes ahead with their port in Freeport, I think that'll bring a lot of tourism, the cruise tourism, to us, and continue to increase that market. So, and because of our proximity, again, the cruise ships like us, because it's with fuel costs increasing, I guess we've got to be an increasingly attractive location for them.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. All right, and that is the future is the theme of your conference.
Yeah.
All right, so for folks who aren't familiar, before we get to that, tell us about RF. Who is RF? Because we've been saying it, and people are asking, what is RF? What is RF? I think they know you by something else, but what is RF?
So RF Bank and Trust, who was formerly Royal Fidelity. So we're investment managers. We offer brokerage accounts, mutual funds, trust and estate planning, corporate finance, and anything basically to help Bahamians build wealth.
All right. And you've been around for quite a while.
Yes, 25 years.
My goodness. Wow. All right. Wonderful stuff. All right. So how long have you been doing the Economic Outlook?
Oh, boy. A while.
About 10 years. It actually started in Cayman.
Cayman, right.
And migrated here, actually with our predecessor owner, Fidelity, I think started it in Cayman. And then it expanded here. Yeah. And now, with COVID, it actually allowed us to expand even further because we can reach our audience remotely.
Yeah. So it's going to be a hybrid. It's going to be virtual and in person.
Right.
And that's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening in both the Bahamas and in Cayman on the same day.
Wow.
So that's June 8th. We're also, as you mentioned, doing it virtually. So if people don't want to come down to Bahamar, they can join us online. and that's from anywhere in the world, right? As well as the Caribbean. So we're marketing it kind of across the region. So it'll be really interesting. So as you mentioned, we will be talking about the economy. We have a geopolitical speaker who will be touching on the same things you guys were just diving into. Definitely what's happening in the U.S., what's happening in the European markets, and how that impacts us in the Bahamas, most importantly. But beyond that, we'll also be talking to some interesting people about what else we could be getting into. So we all know we have these crypto exchanges now in the market. So we'll have a speaker coming down who's going to be talking about that, the future of investments. So that is Keith Herman. He's going to be talking about digital assets, blockchain, and what that can mean to Bahamians. And should we be taking part in it? How can we be taking part in it? So some really interesting speakers this year.
Everybody's talking about that.
Yes.
Wondering what role we will play.
Yeah, we also have a gentleman by the name of Dex Torik. He's Executive Communications Manager at Facebook and Google. And he's going to talk about the future of work and how that, all this technology, I guess, will impact how we work as we move forward.
People have gotten used to working from home.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't want to go back to the office. So that's going to change a lot of things.
And then, as we talked about, a gentleman by the name of John Satilides, geopolitical and geoeconomic strategist. So he's going to talk about how all these things that I mentioned before around the world, that's happening around the world, are going to impact us here in the Bahamas.
Yeah. Wow.
Right.
And then the final speaker is Sean Kanunga. I hope I'm not butchering his name, right? But he's going to be closing us out, and he's talking about Meta. So we've all heard about the metaverse. So what does that look like? Should we be paying attention? How does it impact local businesses? You know, we've been rushing since the pandemic to take everything online, but should we now be taking it into the metaverse? So that should be an interesting topic as well to hear from.
Wow, well, that's going to be very exciting. All right, so you can register for it now, and there's some benefits if you register now.
Definitely, early bird. So get your discount if you register this week. So it ends May 15th. You're paying a nice little discount, and we also have discounts for professional associations. So they don't have to worry as much about this week, but definitely everybody else, if you want an in-person discount, register this week online at the website, which is rfeoc.com.
And of course, there's the continuing professional development recognition. So attendees earn 5 CPD credits during the live event, with a chance to earn some more through the on-demand segments.
Okay. And you have a different price if you're going to be online, if you're doing this virtually.
Yeah, so if you're online, obviously you don't get the networking, you don't get the nice lunch, you're not there for the lovely cocktail afterwards. So you do get a discount. So it's $150 if you're online, and in person is $400 without the early bird.
Right. But as you mentioned, you might want to come in person because not just for the great food, but the networking should be a fantastic opportunity there. All right. All right. So what else can we expect from the conference?
Well, we have a lot of exciting things happening with our sponsors. So let me make sure I pull it up so I don't miss anybody out. We were just discussing this. So we have a ton of great sponsors this year. We have Fidelity, Alive, Consolidated Water, Doctors Hospital, GSO, JS Johnson, PwC, The Tribune, and we have some surprise sponsors who will be there on the day of doing some nice activations. Might have something to do with driving cars, some fancy cars and different things like that. So you definitely want to come in person and see, interact with the booths and get some nice giveaways. Alive always gives away a really nice phone. So, yeah.
All right. So all those things you mentioned, those are some hot topics. And so this is an unnecessary question, but let's hear it from you. Who should attend the RF Economic Outlook?
Everyone.
I think everybody. Certainly any business professional. Any business professional that is interested in our economy and how we're going to be impacted geopolitically now, tomorrow, and the new technologies that might impact your existing business or a business you plan on starting, and of course students. Students who want to interact with the business community and find out what firsthand what these new technologies might mean for them as they graduate and they move forward in life.
Yeah, definitely. If you're an HR leader, if you're a marketing or communications leader, that first speaker, Dex Torek from Facebook, that'll be something extremely relevant for your market. If you're a small business owner or entrepreneur, any of this information is relevant to you. And again, if you're interested in crypto and blockchain, if you want to learn more about it and get ahead of the curve, come on out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you said students. How would that work? How do students take part of this?
So for the students, we actually do free. So we record everything. Obviously, this year it's falling kind of on their summer break. So normally we would have them come out and attend or do a special hosting for them there at UB. But this year, since it's happening during summer break, they'll have access to all of the sessions afterwards. It'll be in the library portal for them at UB.
Wow. Okay, that is a great opportunity there. Wonderful stuff. All right. So one more time, tell us how folks can be a part of this, what they need to do if they want to get on that early bird rate right now, how long they have before that's no longer available, and just registering in general, what people need to know.
Sure. Everything is online, very convenient. Do it from home with a credit card. Log on to the website, which is www.rfeoc.com. And early bird rates are good this week, so end May 15th. And then that's on in-person, and you can purchase in-person or virtual online through that website.
And there's also group discounts for groups over 10. That's in-person only for those discounts. But so get your friends together and come join us.
Yeah, and if people want to find out more about RF and want to take advantage of what you all offer, tell us about that and what everyone needs to know.
Yeah, they can visit our website at rfgroup.com or give us a call, 603-6000. And we can get you set up with a financial advisor to give you, investment advisor to give you some financial advice and point you in the right direction.
Yeah, we're all about creating wealth for Bahamians. We're I think all of our clients are Bahamian. We're not an offshore bank. Here in the Bahamas, we have operations in Cayman and Barbados, so we service other markets through those businesses. But we've grown a lot. We've got about just around 1.2 billion now in assets under management. So the company has grown. My end of the business, which is corporate finance, investment banking, inundated with lots of requests from Bahamians right now, looking to start new businesses and grow their existing businesses. So it's like I said, internally, we're firing on a lot of different cylinders here in the Bahamas, and which is all positive moving forward. It's just how do these external factors, which if you come to our event, you'll find out how these events might impact us.
So you're definitely seeing a mindset shift when it comes to Bahamians and investing.
And it's from everything. It's from online business opportunities to grassroots stuff that we know and are aware of on a day-to-day basis. Seeing it across the board right now in terms of interest.
Yeah.
So.
That is fantastic. All right, so one more time, Rachel. Rachel, remind us about this, when it is, and how people can be a part of the Economic Outlook.
So it's happening June 8th in person at Bahamar or virtually, and it's the Bahamas Economic Outlook Conference. So we'll have 4 amazing speakers talking on a range of things, open to everyone. If you're interested in understanding how the things that are happening around the world are impacting us in the business community, if you're interested in metaverse and blockchain, in how to take advantage of all these new technologies and what the latest trends are in the market, definitely come out. You can purchase tickets on the website, rfeoc.com. Early bird rate is happening this week, ends May 15th.
And it's the event itself, of course, is on June 8th, and registration that day will open at 9 a.m.
Oh, and you can register that day.
Yes, you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
oh, that's good to know as well. This is great, and I'm looking forward to hear what comes out of this. All of these sounding very, very hot topics, as we said, and it's going to be a lot of great information. And so, will only students be able to access this afterward, or will everybody, if they are able to make it?
Well, if you register, you do have access to it for a allotted time. So
Okay.
it's not
Alright.
forever, but if you do register and you're not able to watch it that day, you can watch the replays.
That is good stuff. Good stuff. Rachel Alahar and Jim Wilson, thank you so much from RF. Looking forward to the Economic Outlook again. Next month, time is flying.
Time is flying.
And again, catch that early bird rate available through May 15th.
Through Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break and be back to wrap up this hour. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Turn around and jump on low neck. Granny crawl through the leg. And the people them start to beg. I say, why granny, why? Why granny, why? Shake, Lucy, shake. Shake, Lucy, shake. Go down low, glow. Go down low, glow. Yeah, like them so. Go Lucy, go glow. Why granny,
Doctors
why?
Hospital's Pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshospital.com.
One thing there is no debate about is that BTC has the best rates. Now, the best rates just got better because you pay half the price of the other guys with your BTC home internet and mobile services combined. Switching to BTC is a no-brainer because I pay less with BTC and get super fast internet with speeds up to 600 megs. The other guys, their internet only go up to 105 megs.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile. Visit a BTC store to make the switch today. Conditions apply.
Even when dining out is kind of predictable.
Will that be all, miss? No, I would like that double-decker caramel chocolate cheesecake.
Sometimes you need to make a classic move. That's why for all of life's moments, there's one classic credit card. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic Credit Card. Manage your day-to-day expenses. Apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic and enjoy 1 year's free membership. Conditions apply.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
Aha! Da 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 ding 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 day. Da 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 ding 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 day. Here is a story that's also true. Just sit right back and I tell it to you. What my grandpa used to tell to me when I was nothing more than the age of 3. Auntie B, she used to roast the corn. Everyone else, they would gather around to hear these stories that he would tell about the ghost who used to cry out from the well. Aha! Bunde! Yeah. On the front road, about a half a mile, there was a house belonged to Mr. Styles. He used to live the island life, just him and the homely wife. She used to cook and clean and scrub.
Polished the windows, washed it up. There's nothing that Annie wouldn't do. She never row, never ever argue. She swore to love him till the end of time. Her love was true, gentle, and oh so kind. She wanted their love to last forever. And if he ever died, they'll have to go together. Annie, 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 I know I was wrong. Your love for me was oh so strong. Annie.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Laverne Gardner. Coming up in a few minutes on Morning Blend Business, we're going to talk with Arawak X. We're going to get an update on their crowdfunding initiatives. The first 3 that they've done, where things stand with those. So if you've invested in that, you want to stick around. And if you've been interested, you definitely want to hear more about that. So that's coming up. And before we break for news headlines, Laverne, some late messages coming in about the Lucayan, Grand Lucayan. Someone says here, let's celebrate after the deal closes. And yeah, well, that's
okay.
Reasonable.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, there's no reason to be dark and gloomy about it, though.
Right.
All right. So that's fine. Yes, it might be early to set off fireworks, but optimistic that, and we're hoping and praying that this will be the catalyst that is needed to spark, to re-jump the life into Grand Bahama. So, yeah. So that's all, right?
Yeah. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not here saying we don't believe in the deal, bashing the deal. We're just saying we're in the wait mode, as we should be.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to break for news headlines. When we come back, as we said, Morning Blend Business, Arawak X, and crowdfunding. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I know I was wrong. Your love for me was oh so strong. Annie, 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 this just like hell. I still go so drop inside the well.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, May 12th, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And this morning we are talking with Arawak X. They are back and talking about their crowdfunding initiatives, where things stand with the previous ones, and what's next. What's next? We're very pleased to welcome back to the show, D.R.C. Ramming Jr. Sir, always a pleasure.
Thank you, and it's nice to be in studio.
Right.
You know, it's hey, you've been doing these interviews over Zoom the entire time.
It's been, that was okay, but this is better.
This is
better. Yes.
This is better.
Good to have you, although poor Laverne is on Zoom. But that's fine, right, Laverne?
Yes, because I was about to say, hey, I'm still on Zoom. But I just want to put out there, Dwight, that any time that you would like to fly me in for a morning blend on Thursday, I'm available.
Would you be willing to do that every week? Like Wednesdays, we fly you in, and then you do the show, and then fly back out to Grand Bahama?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. We'll talk. All right. So Arawak X has been interesting. Where do things stand right now? We know that you had some success, and some things not.
Yeah.
Well, you tell us in your own words.
It's a new market that we're building. So the first thing that you do with a new company, a new market, is you got to prove that people actually want this stuff, right? And I think we were very successful that there is demand for new companies being brought to market.
Right.
We had 7,000 people sign up.
Wow.
Many of them, when we actually talked to them, they said, well, we like this company or that company, but we're waiting to see what kind of companies are being brought. And so the first good bit of good news that I could say about what's next is we actually have 12 companies in the pipeline.
12
that are within. We're actually submitting documentation to the Securities Commission right now to make sure that they can come out. So
excellent.
Very, 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 very soon. But talking back about the past, we had one success, and we learned a lot from why it was successful versus why the other ones weren't taken up like we thought they would be. And it's not because the ideas themselves were rejected, but it was the way it was structured, the timing of certain things, some of the legalese. And so we were talking to high net worth individuals, and they brought these things up. And so we're making adjustments. We also spent some time working on the platform itself. I'm an engineer first, so making sure that we're calling the new platform that we're getting ready Arawak X 2.0.
Okay.
So it's we've made some improvements to it and to the user experience. So
okay. All right. So let's take a step back for those. Some people might not know exactly what we're talking about here. Tell us about Arawak X and what you are doing. What it is that you do specifically.
Okay. So we are a licensed marketplace and clearing facility. And that's the very legalese technical term for a stock exchange. And what that does is it allows companies to go to the general public and say, hey, we're trying to do new business. We're trying to grow our business. And, and when I say new business, I mean it can be an existing business that is just trying to expand. And what that does is the company then has to go through a regulated process, which brings its standards up to the standards that the public need. And then they are able to pitch and tell their story and raise money from the crowd, which is the 400,000 Bahamians. And also what we've been doing over this time is select American investors. So we've been working with various different groups trying to bring in foreign direct investment and making that process easier too. So that's kind of with the moves that we've been making since we launched in August. We didn't know we were going to launch, and then there was going to be a general election, 2 weeks later or so.
Boy.
So we had to navigate that whole space as well. So it's been a lot of moving parts.
I hadn't thought about that. That really, wow.
It was like launch and then boom, election called.
And we know money gets diverted to a lot of things during that time of wow. Okay. So you, as you said, you had one company, but that's 1 out of 3. That's not bad, right?
We would like it to be. We're trying to make it. We're trying to set up the environment so that it's more like 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want a 10 out of 10. What 10 out of 10 means is that you're not allowing the the more I don't want to call them fringe ideas, but the more innovative ideas to the market. You still need people to shoot their shot with some of these ideas, because otherwise
You got to vet them, I guess.
you got to vet them. But the vetting is just about the structure,
Right,
not
okay.
about the idea, the quality of the idea.
Okay.
So if you're batting 10 out of 10, it means you're not taking enough risk, right? Any financial advisor that's betting 100% is not pushing the envelope enough, because risk, reward, profit comes from taking just the right amount of risks. And so it's the same with investing. So you should be looking for things that every great investor calls it the 10-bagger, right? You should be looking for that one company, because you only need one 10-bagger in your life, and you've actually become very wealthy. You only need one success like that. And so people should be looking for it. And we as Arawak are trying to make sure that when we set up this environment, we make sure that it doesn't preclude those kinds of companies too.
So the company that was successful, tell us about how that works, and for those who invested in it, what that means for them.
So what that means for them is they are going to, it's approaching around month 4 since that offering closed. So what they're about to start receiving is information on the project from the issuers themselves. They're going to start to receive that through their emails, eventually on the platform itself. And that's all I can say about it, because the information is not public yet.
Okay.
So, but information is coming as to where it is. The issuer themselves will be communicating with them. So,
all right. And for the other two, what happens? Do you get your money back? Has that happened already?
Yes,
or
that
that's
has. Yes, that
happened?
has. So people have been receiving their monies back. So what's the benefit of crowdfunding versus a normal investment? With a normal investment, say the guy wants to build a house. Everybody can visualize building a house. And say that the business is simple. You're going to build this house. You're going to rent it. Simple business, okay? Well, the house costs $1 million to build, and you are only able to raise $600,000. The problem is with that is that the house doesn't get built, and the whole $600,000 goes to waste. There's risk from being undercapitalized. What crowdfunding does is it fundamentally changes that by protecting the investor. Whereas if the project doesn't hit its minimums, it doesn't get funded. Everybody gets their money back. So you're protected from that risk, because there's a lot of really great ideas, companies that have been started, but because they were undercapitalized, they failed. And so that's what's so innovative about this space. And that rule is it gives an extra protection to investors, because the investors know if it gets fully funded, they're going to have a legitimate shot to work the business. And if it doesn't get fully funded, there's going to be no half-built house. And so that's what the market saw, and that's part of our business. Like I say, we want to set it up so that eventually it could be 9 out of 10 get funded.
Right.
But we have to work towards that. We got to figure out the different little nuances in the market that will allow to create that environment.
So what happens with those 2 other companies?
So
Can they come back?
They can come back, yeah. So that's the beauty of this, right? It's sometimes it's the idea needs more refinement. They were some of the first out, so I think they. Over time, what's going to happen is the market is going to build itself where those kinds of ideas, because they're great companies, great ideas, but it takes time. Like, what we saw with when we finally did the final reconciliation for the one that was successful, what we saw was about 1,000 people invested in it, 800 to 1,000 people. And what that means is you need about 800 to 1,000 people that believe in those other ideas, but that takes time to get people to, one was in the agricultural space, one was in the technology space. You got to find groups of those kinds of people that believe in those kinds of things, and that takes time. And so I think they were just products of being out there on the first group. I think the whole market has learned now a lot more. We've brought in a lot more big heavy hitters, heavy investors that can write sizable checks. So what that's going to mean is that the likelihood of success for future companies is going to be higher. And those business people from those two companies are great business people. So don't be surprised when you see them again, because remember, they did nothing wrong. They just weren't able to figure out the right mix at that time.
Right.
But in the future, when they figure it out, they can still be very successful businesses.
I'm curious. Do you think it's a promotion issue, or is it the minimum was too high? Is it a combination?
I think it was just the because it's a nascent market. It was a nascent market, and we were still doing the education campaign. We tried our best as Arawak X. I really will say it. I think it's more us than them. If I'm being brutally honest, it took time to educate people as to what this is. It took time to demonstrate certain things. Like, for example, you can get on the radio and say, "Hey, if it doesn't work, you'll get your money back." But until you demonstrate that,
Right.
it's not. That those are just words, right? Mouth could say anything, as the old people like to say.
Yeah.
So it's important to the market for people to understand. Arawak X is new. The people in Arawak X are not new. They're financial professionals, business professionals. But until people get an understanding of what it is that we're actually doing, that's where the trust comes in, right? And so that takes time.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've been building. That's what we've been working on. We've been working on this for now publicly since 2019. But still, even still, it takes time. It takes time.
All right, so we've been talking about this. Laverne, go on. You go on.
Yeah. I know that there was only one company that was successful with getting all of their funding, but just based on the overall response, how receptive do you think that the public has been to crowdfunding and, just trying to support? I don't know if those other businesses got any support or they just didn't get sufficient. But in your estimation, how receptive do you think the public has been?
The public has been very receptive. So we've actually had 7,000 people sign up, which, to give you an understanding, that's actually more people that are signed up for the Bahamas government securities. So more people want companies. If you were to do a very crude analysis, we were able to sign up more people than people that actually own government stock. So it's not a matter of whether or not people want it, but just like a supermarket, when you go into the supermarket and you want to buy fruit, and there are no apples in your bacon apple pie, you don't buy oranges to put in your apple pie. It's the same thing with investments. People buy things that they know and they trust. And like I said, for when we did an analysis, because we talked to most of those 7,000 people, we haven't been doing nothing. We've been talking. We've been trying to analyze why. How is it? What happened here? And because at the end of the day, we do believe in those companies. We do believe that they have a legitimate shot to work, and it's our job as the market to make sure that the market can support companies like that. And so, in doing that analysis, we were talking to them, to the investors, and they were saying, okay, I think this is a really great company, but it's not my type of company. So they're waiting for other types of companies. So that's why you'll see in these next 12 companies even more diversity of the different industries so that people can pick and invest in things that they understand. It's very, very much a Benjamin Graham, Warren Buffett is what we found most Bahamians are, which is they invest in things they understand.
Wow.
Which is reasonable. It's very reasonable. People are not stupid. It's their money. They understand that there's risk, but they are hedging that risk by doing things that they understand.
Absolutely.
Very reasonable, right?
Yeah. So you didn't have too many people investing in all
No,
three.
no. You had people that said, I like this one.
Yeah.
This is not, I don't understand that industry. I think it's a cool idea, but I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
And that's cool. It's in this analysis, what I found fascinating is you talk to the heavy hitter, and he's talking about how, you know, he wants to put his money to work, he wants to get a better return. And then you're talking to the guy who put in his $25, and he's talking the same kind of thing. So it really does tell you that I think it's been an opportunity. I think people are really pleased to finally have the opportunity. We tried our very, very hardest to lower the barriers of all kinds. And I think the market responded by people are still signing up to this day, even though we've been in this pause state as we've been reevaluating and revamping our systems. And so, you know, it's cool. I think people are ready for this. People are ready for this. In fact, in this next go round, we are trying to, of course, increase the number of users on the platform, trying to increase our product delivery. So the technology is going through its evolving as we get more feedback. And so so people who are using it, I will say, you know, even if you ran into a bug or a bump during the first set, we're a completely different company. Every 3 months, we're a completely different company. Because at the end of the day, for me, the reason why we're doing this is because as an entrepreneur myself, I had a very difficult time finding financing for ideas. I'm an engineer from one of the top 10 U.S. universities. And even someone like me had a difficult time getting financing in this town. So it's for me, this is a very personal problem, because if a guy like me has a hard time finding finance, and what is the guy who has a great idea that went to school, worked his way up, building his business, and he still goes and he has the problem? He has no chance. And so so we can't have a society like that. You know, if we're gonna grow. So, like I say, it's personal. This is a personal thing.
You mentioned the election last year, and we talked about the money, and now we've got inflation, and we've got so many issues, and money is getting tighter and tighter.
Yes,
Do you think that is going to be a challenge for anybody looking for investors going forward, at least for the next year?
And I will say this, and this may sound very, very, I don't want to say elitist, but classist maybe. Inflation only affects people who do not own assets.
Wow.
If you own assets like businesses or stocks, inflation does not affect you, because as prices rise, the consumer pays the prices, and that's just the reality of capitalism. So for me, this is more than just business. This is about making sure that people have access to assets that pay returns, because then that's your best inflationary hedge. Will life be uncomfortable? Yeah, but uncomfortable for a wealthy person is very different than uncomfortable for a person that has no assets. And so so for me, this is more than just about you know, making money, seeing the returns. This is about, you know, social contract, how we are defining our society. And I think by allowing people to have access to new assets, they will themselves find that capitalism does work. It works if you own things. And
so how are you going to get that message across to people who are thinking, I don't have time to invest in someone's company? If everything's going up, I don't have enough money for this, I can't do that anymore. How will you get them to understand what you just said?
So I think people are understanding it just through their lived experience. You know, like it definitely seems like society is unfair, right? You know, no matter what you do, prices keep going up, things keep going up, you're out of your control. Well, that stuff is out of your control. That's out of all of our control. The economy is too complicated. Even our little economy is too complicated for one or two people to fully understand. What can be in your control is what you choose to do with your money. And so what you choose to do with your money is you need to choose to make sure that you have enough assets to be able to weather these kinds of storms. Because these kinds of storms are going to become, as the world becomes more globalized, as the Bahamas become more globalized, we are no longer sheltered from economic storms. And so the only way to hedge against that is to have companies that are going out there and are, doing international business, affecting these kinds of, not affecting, the better word is, are being proactive. You have to be proactive about this stuff. You cannot take your, no one is going to come and save you. That's the hardest lesson that any business person kind of has to learn. And it's the hardest lesson I think that COVID is kind of teaching all of us.
Wow.
Nobody is going to come and save you. So you have to be proactive with your money and your finances and your decisions so that when these things come, that, it's, you have a fighting chance. And what Arawak X is doing is just providing a vehicle for that.
That's very interesting what you're saying. We're hearing the government say it as well. Their options on reducing inflation are very limited. Basically,
we're pegged to the U.S.
stuck.
dollar.
Yeah.
So that means that whatever happens in the United States currency is going to happen. Whatever happens in the world is going to happen because every currency is kind of deals with the U.S. dollar in some way. So it's important to understand that got to get some assets. Got to get some assets that pay income. And then, like I say, these bumps in the road will be uncomfortable. They are always uncomfortable when your income levels change, but you'll be able to survive them.
Yeah.
But if you're making minimum wage right now, I understand why people are screaming. I mean, price of gas. What is the price of gas? You got the paper right there.
$6.33, $6.35.
My gosh.
Yeah, my goodness.
I mean, like that's incredible. And if you're on minimum wage or any fixed income, you're just seeing that whatever space, even the best budgeters, whatever space. So you need to have other sources of income. So that's basically it's how the wealthy play the game, and it's how what we're doing is we're just helping to democratize a little bit of that.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to find out a little more about how it's going to work going forward with the 12 companies we talked about. And we've got some great questions coming in as well. You can send us your questions, 422-4796, or tweet us, Blend 969, Facebook us as well, and we'll take some calls on the other side of this break. This is Morning Blend Business. We are talking with DRC Ramming Jr. from Arawak X. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
History has taught us that in crisis, humanity will always respond with innovation. What world-changing technologies will emerge from humanity's latest challenges? How can the Caribbean capitalize on the metaverse, blockchain, hybrid work, and more? Join us at the RF Economic Outlook Conference under the theme Future Forces, World-Changing Ideas, where we will explore the future of work, investments, technology, and more. The journey begins on June 8th. Reserve your seat today at www.rfeoc.com.
Play this record as frequently as possible.
Friday, May 20th, it's time to feel good.
It's Star 106 and Four Walls. Feel Good Friday.
Classic. The Star 106 Anniversary Edition.
Happening at the Four Walls Squash and Social Club Village Road.
It's the after work.
I got so early vibes.
Vintage.
Block party.
Exclusively for the grown and sexy.
With the best in throwback classics.
Happening at the new Outdoor Terrace Bar at Four Walls.
Limited tickets on sale now at the Nassau Guardian and Four Walls for $20 in advance.
Come out early to enjoy the open room bar from 5 to 6 p.m.
This is a strictly cashless party.
So bring your old school dancing moves with your new school payment options.
Feel Good Fridays. Friday, May 20th.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
The city of Miami is waiting for you, and Island Pay wants to take you there. Yes, you heard that correctly. Island Pay is giving away 5 priceless trips to Miami for 2 people just for using your MasterCard prepaid card. Every $30 you spend gets you a chance to win. Whether it's on groceries, gas, diapers, clothes, gifts, online, and others, it's all counting and getting you closer to an unforgettable experience in Miami. Don't have an Island Pay MasterCard yet? No problem. Get yours today. And Island Pay will give you $15 back. Island Pay, a better way to pay, a better way to win. Promotion running March 21st to May 18, 2022. Conditions apply. Visit islandpay.com to learn more.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The government is hoping that the $100 million sale of the Grand Lucine Resort will trigger a spree of other significant investments for Grand Bahama. That's according to Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Aviation and Investments Chester Cooper. He addressed the economic impact of the sale of the island. On the island, the government entered into the agreement with Electra America Hospitality Group, which has agreed to finalize the sale of the resort within the next 120 days, and thereafter inject $300 million into the development of the 30-acre property. He says that Cooper says that Grand Bahama has some great opportunities, and there are some significant potential properties to be invested in on the island, and he anticipates this will spark more interest into that and serve as a catalyst for a renaissance for regrowth on Grand Bahama. Meanwhile, a rebuilt world-class airport on the islands is projected to be completed in line with the opening of the Grand Lucine Resort in early 2025. Last month, the government issued a new request for proposals in search of a partner to rebuild Grand Bahama International Airport, which sustained an estimated $60 million in damage during Hurricane Dorian in 2019. Mr. Cooper, who answered media questions following the announcement yesterday from Electra America Hospitality, said that airlift is a critical component to the revitalization of the resort and the island. The ultra-luxurious, low-density Kamalame Key continues its expansion with 9 villas under construction and a partnership with Atlantis and Coco Bahamas Seaplanes that allows Atlantis guests to be whisked off to Kamalame Key for 24-hour stay, and vice versa. Atlantis' package to Kamalame Key is available through the resort's Sapphire Services, which it describes as bespoke concierge experiences. Atlantis' president and managing director Audrey Oswald explained that there is no request too grand for Sapphire Services to execute. You can read more about that in today's Guardian Business section. And the Access Accelerated Small Business Development Center is saying goodbye to its founding executive director, Davinia Bain, and has appointed Samantha Roll as interim executive director. The Access Accelerator has released a farewell note to Bain on its Facebook page. You can read all of that in today's Guardian Business section. Overseas, U.S. producer prices soared 11% in April from a year earlier, a heftier gain that indicates high inflation will remain a burden for consumers and businesses in the months ahead. The Labor Department saying today that its producer price index, which measures inflation before it reaches consumers, climbed 0.5% in April from March. That's a slowdown from the previous month, though, when it jumped 1.6%. The report includes some signs that price increases are moderating, but at a painfully high level. The year-over-year increase in April fell from the 11.5% annual gain in March, the first decline in the yearly data since December 2020, and the monthly gain of 0.5% was the smallest in 7 months. Yet prices are still rising at an historically rapid clip. Food costs rose 1.5% just in April from March, while shipping and warehousing prices leapt 3.6%. New car prices rose 0.8%. The producer price data captures inflation at an earlier stage of production and can sometimes signal where consumer prices are headed. It also feeds into the U.S.'s Federal Reserve's preferred measure of inflation, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index. Closer to home in your market watch, your market movers on the BISX. CIBC First Caribbean Bank moving 1,100 shares, closing up $1.18 to $15.18. Galena Holdings moving 500, unchanged at $8. Consolidated Water down 6 cents, closing at $2.11. And Emira Incorporated up 1 cent, closing at $11.85. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,359.66, up 62.50. That's your Market Watch, and that is your Morning Business Report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And we're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Laverne Gardner. We are talking with Yarsi Ramming Jr. from Arawak X. And we've got a great text here. You can send your text messages again, 422-4796, or tweet us at Morning Blend at 969, or on Facebook, facebook.com/morningblend969. And call in 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. All right, this text here. Actually, Dwight, this is the best time to invest. Now, Arawak X must explain the type of investments they do. It's a startup investment with risks. Simplify the entry process. Try to get the powers to allow you to set up a Robinhood type platform. But I respect the brothers' determination there. Okay, but Robinhood type platform. Do you get that? What do they mean exactly there?
Well, that's just a so Robinhood had during the pandemic really helped open the access for the average American to the financial markets.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually had about 20 million people sign up. You got to remember the U.S. is huge. Mm-hmm. So 20 million people were able to open up brokerage accounts. Were able to open up accounts and be able to buy shares because they did zero fee accounts. Mm-hmm. And so, it's about, they called it Robinhood, which is, I don't know if that I would agree with that. I'm not quite the same. No, it's not quite the same. No. You're not taking from the rich to give to the poor. Mm-hmm. There are no communists around here. But in all seriousness, it is about democratizing access. Mm-hmm. And because, I believe in something that's called a property owning democracy. And what that means is that we have the democracy part down. We got that. We can peacefully, with virtually no political violence. We're the envy of this side of the world when it comes to our political system. But in terms of our economic system, we're all asking the question. And when I say we're all asking, it's not political. People on both sides are asking the question. People in the community are asking the question. On the show, you guys are asking the question. Everybody's asking the question, how do we get this economy working? And what is our individual roles in doing that? Right. And so the property owning democracy is basically, it's just a society that's set up for you to buy and acquire assets of three kinds. The first is home ownership. People should be able to own their own homes. Mm-hmm. Second is cash savings. People should earn enough money so that they can have cash savings. And the third is investments. And the investment field is always growing, and it grows as the economy grows. So what we're doing as Arawak X is similar to Robinhood in terms of making it easier for people to access new kinds of investments. Yeah. There is risk. There's always risk when you're investing. There's no such thing as safe. In fact, profit is your reward for taking risk. Mm-hmm. So it's always important to remember that. Without risk, there is no profit. Mm-hmm. So that's something that people should keep in mind.
Yeah. All right. So, what can you tell us about the 12 companies that you're talking about that are going to be coming on stream shortly?
I can tell you they're in a lot of different industries. So I'm in the weird position where I'm allowed to talk about the structure of the exchange, and I'm not allowed to talk about non-public information.
Okay.
I do apologize. I know every time you get me on the show, you ask me the same thing. What can you give me a hint? And the answer is no.
Oh, boy.
Compliance would be very, very upset with me. And, I don't want them to be upset with me.
All right, so let me ask you this. How many of these will be running at the same time? And is that an issue? Should there be one at a time, give them some time so they don't compete with another company and people have to choose, oh boy, do I want this or that one? I can't do both. Or tell us about that. What have you determined?
I'm of the opinion, and I think we're of the opinion right now, that just let companies get out and tell their own story. Like I say, the type of person that is an investor in a construction type company is very different than an agricultural, is very different than a technology, is very different than an engineered product, is very different than a food business. So it's important for people to just get out there and tell their own stories. We're just the platform. We really, I don't want to ever take the approach of trying to control the market. That's not my job. My job is to make sure that people get their opportunity to tell their story.
Put them on a buffet table, let people decide what they want.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a supermarket. You're not supposed to say, well, since we only have apples today, let's try and get everybody to buy apples.
Right.
No, people who don't want to buy apples are not going to buy apples. That's just the reality. So I think it's better to have the apples, the oranges, the peaches, the this, the that, and then let people decide, because they're going to decide.
Right.
They're either going to say yes, I like that, or they're going to sit on the sideline.
Yeah.
So you might as well give people this buffet. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that actually.
So are you saying all 12 will be at the same time?
It's up to compliance.
Yeah.
That's out of my control.
Okay.
I'm just the guy who makes sure that the computers work.
Okay.
And some of the legalese is there.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's take this caller. Caller, you're on Morning Blend Business. We're talking with DRC Ramming Jr. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
I'm astounded by the amount of calls. Yeah.
They're listening intently.
Yeah. That's my sarcasm. Anyway, I believe I jumped in a little late. Compliance, that word just came up there really quiet, and I didn't fully understand. Is up to compliance. I think we should allow Bahamians to perform in our country the same way anyone else can visit and perform. Whether it's FX Pro, FTX, the list goes on. I believe one of your guests said that assets weather the storm. Am I correct?
Yeah, I did say that.
Great, beautiful. Following with that trend of thought, what are the assets of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? See, because we need a list. Because I think if we really had the list of the wealth and the assets of this country, we would understand with only a few 100,000 people, we should be riding the wave quite well. Let me direct you to why I said that. The World Bank and the IMF, and I have the paper in front of me, says that we're the third richest economy in North America, South America, Central America, the Caribbean, and the Atlantic Ocean in the hemisphere. So we must have some kind of asset to have achieved that rating from those two great entities. You agree?
Yes.
So I'm going to hang up now because I want to hear the list of assets that have put us at that level of ranking with 40-some countries in the hemisphere. So we got to start thinking and using logic. But I like what I'm hearing this morning because you're starting to go down that path. But compliancy. These two good things have happened in our country. Obviously, blockchain with the FTX and the FX Pro. Are we teaching our students how to embrace this fully? Because, if we have a great idea, if any of you had a great idea, and I'll wrap up with this, you could get crowd funding instantly if we could deal with compliance, the discrimination, the regulation, the control on the local. I had a Swiss banker tell me, Dwight, I don't want to be a part of your exchange control. He's leaving the country next month. How sad that he recognizes we've put controls on the locals, and anyone else comes and benefits. Great show, guys.
Okay.
I'm going to see who calls and tells us about our assets that will weather the storm.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Well, I will say thank you for the call, because it is about assets, right? It's always been about assets. What the best kinds, the type of asset that is forever, that has no limit, are companies, right? Companies are just legal frameworks around ideas. And as long as there are people, there will be ideas. There'll be ways of solving new problems. There'll be ways of doing new services. There'll be ways of extracting some of these commodities. I think that's what the caller was talking about. There'll be ways of doing all kinds of business. And what public companies do is they pull all of that into the light, and they allow the market, investors, to participate with their dollars. And ideally, so America has one of the greatest public markets because about 60% of Americans own stocks in their companies. And so no matter what happens in America, bad times come, COVID comes, financial crisis comes, whatever happens, their economy always rebounds because they own their companies. It's really that simple. When they have a vested interest in making sure that their country works.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what the caller was getting to. And I am, without getting into, I think I agree with his overall philosophy. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty details of it, because obviously that is its own conversation. There's a lot of nuance in a conversation like that. But if he's saying that we should set up our societies where people can acquire more assets, I agree. Everybody should be able to acquire assets.
It goes back to what we've been hearing since we were young, right? People, if you go to a certain place, frequently people say, "Oh, you have shares in this place," right? But we don't. We don't here. We do that, and we don't. But imagine if you actually did. What a difference that could make.
What a difference it's going to make for our communities. Think about, it's just like your house, right? One of the reasons we, in some of the worst neighborhoods in our nation, you see very little graffiti, is because people own those buildings. And you're not going to tag up my building. I'm going to paint over it. I'm going to find you. I'm going to, so people take care of things that they own.
Yeah.
And it's the same with companies. So one of the things, Disney is a huge company because most people's 401k have a little bit of Disney stock in it.
Yeah.
So basically every American owns Disney. So guess what is going to happen? The world is going to collapse, and Disney is going to be right there because they're going to take care of it. I'm just
scary
saying.
Actually, but yes, it likely will happen.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So it's we have to understand this. We as a nation have been underutilizing this aspect of our legal system, and it is a beautiful aspect of our legal system. One of the reasons a lot of these foreign companies are here is because we have strong protections of assets, which is the first step to be having great companies. We have that here. Our trust laws are the best trust laws in the world. So that's all about protection of assets. And so we can protect the assets once they've been created. Now it's about empowering the business people to create those assets.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we do. That's why I could talk about it intimately.
Yeah.
Like I said, the other stuff like the housing and the cash savings, those are human rights. So I won't get too much into them, but I think people should be able to buy their own homes and especially young people.
Absolutely. All right, so we have to go back a little bit and explain for some folks who don't seem to quite get what we're talking about here. This person's saying, how is the share price determined? I feel like the entry price is too high for first-time investors.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if they explain to us. I think I'm not sure if that's accurate, but
okay.
The minimum investment was pretty low for these first few.
Yes.
Right?
So share price is not share price is kind of arbitrary, right? If you're going to be honest, because it's share price times the number of outstanding shares. So the number of outstanding shares can be as little as 5,000. Many companies are structured that way, or it can be as many as 100 million, or even I think I've seen 100 million before of those big public companies. So really that share price is the total value of the company divided by the number of outstanding shares. And that's how you get to that share price. So oftentimes in other markets, the philosophy in like England has been to kind of keep the share price very low, so that they have they trade in pence, like they still price things in pence. Whereas the philosophy in America has been to have trade in the tens to hundreds of dollar range for most companies, and then companies like Tesla and them they kind of spiral out, and then you'll often see them do a split, where they split the shares and they increase the number of shares, give people more shares to keep that price down. We are American style capitalists, so our pricing of our shares is going to be most likely in the $10 to $20 range, because it makes it a little bit easier for people to understand. That's our belief. I mean, if you grew up doing British style capitalism, I applaud you. Very different, a lot of different things. But the last 20 years, all the growth in the world has come out of the U.S. I suggest you I suggest you start to look at how the Americans do business. They know how to do business much better than everybody else in the world. And so if I'm going to copy someone, I'm going to copy the A student in the class, not the B and the C students. So that's my philosophy. But it is but that's a very good question. So it's determined. Remember, it's the total value of the company is the number of outstanding shares times the current share price, and then it's divided by those shares.
Yeah.
So that's how we get to it.
But your buy-in was pretty low,
yeah,
comparatively speaking.
Yes, it is. So what does that mean? What does that mean to the average guy? Good question. What it means to the average guy is there's always minimums that are set. So even if the share price is $1 a share, the minimum could be $50,000. What we chose to do was because we have a lot of technology that takes care of all of the administrative work, we actually can manage accounts for dollars a month. So for us, we chose to lower the barrier all the way down to even if the high school student, just graduated and is able to put all he has $25. I'd rather him own one share in one company than have to wait and to save. And oftentimes that's impossible,
right?
Given our current economics. So our philosophy was lower the barriers to entry, let people touch this tool, let people see. They're going to start to get the information like the financial statements and the board reports, and participate in an annual general meeting, and once you get into that flow, it's just a process. It's just a process of learning. You just learn, and so we wanted to do that.
And that was with all three. The minimum was
25. 25, and then it was 16 for the other two. So it's going to depend. I don't set the minimum price. There's a whole structure and committee that does that, along with the founder. But like I say, share price is not. After the share starts to trade, the market decides what the share price is. But in the initial outlay, it's kind of an institution that decides.
And you didn't have to buy more than that if that's all that you could afford.
That's right.
Right.
And that's
unlike with some other securities we see around.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Texture, I don't know. I think that was a pretty accessible number there to get in on this, as DRC says, and then go from there once you see how it works. So yeah. All right. This.
And great question, by the way. Great question. People don't know. People don't understand this stuff.
This person says, I like what you all are doing. I personally did this for myself 20 years ago. I have my own brokerage account in the States. I don't listen to politicians or go through the bureaucracy of the Bahamas. Ask DRC to set a share offering for the airport in Freeport. They'll be trying to do that soon if the government will allow them. Is that something that's a possibility?
The market needs to build up to that. $60 million is not a lot of money in the world, but it takes markets take time. They're exponential by their nature, so they take time to build into the ability. And if you do things right, they take off. I mean, look at America's financial system. I mean, it took time to build. But now that it's pumping and going, there's nothing on this planet that can stop their markets. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
So actually, I just want to say, if we do crowdfunding for the airport in Grand Bahama, I have my $25.
Okay. You know, I think with the right business model, you know,
that could work.
Oh yeah. I mean, airports can be incredible. I mean, if anyone's traveled through Atlanta and seeing just what, I mean, I think that airport has like 110 million people pass through it or something. I mean, something stupid. I mean, it's like
It's one of the busiest in the world.
Yeah, it's they can really work, but that's its own business.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
Okay. All right. So, what is next? What are you going to be doing? Like an immediate thing.
Immediately, there's some. So there is a couple of companies right at the Securities Commission that. So we're like at the last stages for new companies. So they're going to be listed. We are going to be. I've been talking with people in terms of different communities that are out there, in terms of helping to support and develop what are these things called incubators. So you're going to see us doing a little bit more of that. You're also going to see more of our tie-ins with the international, especially America. So that's immediately coming from us. On the incubator side, I love incubators. I was actually one of the first in my university's cohort in the States to ever go through the university incubator.
Wow.
So I love them. You need common places to talk about business. And then the finance people can come in and support. But businesses, I really encourage people to participate in business as an employee, a worker, learn how you can add value and be the most valuable player there, but then also as an investor, because then you learn how to look at the business from the outside and analyze it. And then if you so choose, the riskiest side of it all is the founder.
Right.
Where that's the riskiest part, creating something from nothing.
Right.
And so most people don't have that risk profile or that appetite or the appetite for pain, I call it, because there's a lot of pain. But so if you're not in that category, you can still participate by finding the crazy people that are able to do that and supporting them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it works, and that's
a good
what we're
idea.
doing.
Wonderful stuff. Okay, DRC Ramming, keep us posted. Definitely want to hear more, especially when those companies when they make their announcements. But thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thank you for having the show. And I want to just say for this station and generally, it's great to elevate the conversation. We have to elevate the conversation and start as a nation. Stop talking about people and events and start talking about ideas and how to monetize those ideas. It's only our ideas that is going to pull us out of this rut as an economy, not people and events. Those are reactionary kind of conversations. You have to get proactive about this stuff if we're going to transform our country into what it's supposed to be.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. DRC Ramming Jr. with Arawak X. Thanks a lot. How can people reach you all?
So you can reach us arawakx.com. That's the best way.
Yeah.
Sign up there. All of our contact information is there. We're trying to roll everything through there. So
great stuff. All right. Thanks again. Laverne Gardner, that is it for us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. I'll talk with you next week. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight, Strachan, have a great one. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.